Well, it's been a busy week here at StreamYard Connect. I'm Ross Brand, and we've got a lot to talk about, a lot of new changes and good things going on with StreamYard. And also, Brian Alvey is here. He's the founder of Answers RN. It's a new app that makes it very easy to get some snackable content to use on social media as well as in your live streams. Sound good? Let's start the show. Just letting you know that StreamYard has its own built-in countdown clock. Now, here we go. Welcome to StreamYard Connect. I'm Ross Brand. We're here every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the StreamYard YouTube channel, Facebook page, and on Twitter and Periscope as well. And it's been a busy week. This is actually, and in case you saw the graphic and thought I was running the numbers up a little bit, this is actually our third episode this week. We went live on Monday with a special edition to welcome Nick Nimmin, Daniel Battelle, and Dee Nimmin, new creators. And then I uploaded yesterday an interview with Roberto Blake, who's also joining StreamYard as a content creator. So 4 outstanding YouTubers coming aboard. We're going to talk about snackable content today. Brian Alvey is here. He's the CEO and founder of Clipisode Inc., and he's got a new app called Answers RN. It's really cool. Just to give you a preview of what you can do with it, I put a question out there a few weeks ago asking people. It was when we had just started going to YouTube, and I put the question out there asking people, what is your favorite platform to watch live videos? And surprise, surprise, someone provided an answer that I wasn't expecting.
Hey, this is great. I love Answers RN. It's my app. It's funny. There are a lot of great places for a live video. Everybody does a very good job with this. Twitter maybe doesn't get enough credit for doing live sports and things like that really well. TikTok has live. Everybody has live. Twitch, though, seems to be the giant, the leader. I mean, all they do is live. They're pretty fantastic, and I'll be checking out StreamYard. Thanks.
So if you've watched this show before, you know how much I like to play video clips during the beginning segment as well as later on in the show, what I call the remix towards the end, where I sometimes play clips from past shows or recent highlights. So really excited to have Brian. Some cool stuff you can do with Answers RN. I think it's going to be great both for StreamYard live streamers to add some additional voices, some additional content to their live streams. But it's also great just for making snackable content in between live streams that you can share easily in Instagram stories and Facebook stories, on Twitter, and across social media. So some good stuff to get into there. This is StreamYard Connect, episode 43. I'm Ross Brand. So good to have you with us. It's been, as I mentioned, an exciting week for StreamYard. A lot going on. The basics of StreamYard, if you're new to StreamYard, the 3 pillars are ease of use, stability, and professional looking streams. And those are the co-founders, Gage Vandentop on the left and Dan Briggs on the right. And you're going to hear those themes come up again and again. They guide everything that StreamYard does, and the combination of ease of use, stability, and professional-looking streams is unique for a browser-based, cloud-based solution for live streaming. So check it out. If you haven't done so, livestreamuniverse.com/StreamYard, livestreamuniverse.com/StreamYard. You can get started live streaming and see for yourself. You can do a trial of some of the paid features and get multi-streaming, bring a lot of different guests on. You can record your broadcast, so many different things, video overlays and backgrounds, and a whole lot more. Check it out. We can go to several different destinations as well. Built-in integration with Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, Periscope, which gets you on Twitter, and of course you can also go to your Twitch channel. And if that isn't enough, you can go to any platform that accepts an RTMP URL and stream key. So that's how I'm able to use StreamYard to live stream to Amazon Live. Rather than just live streaming from the Amazon mobile app, I'm able to connect my camera and StreamYard and do screen shares and broadcast from my computer, and then just connect through RTMP to Amazon Live's creator app and then push it out from there. So very important that StreamYard has RTMP capability. It allows you to do a lot of things in addition to the integration with all the major social streaming sites. Roberto Blake is joining StreamYard. I might have mentioned it earlier. Roberto is a phenomenal YouTuber, has around 500,000 followers. He's super talented, creates videos teaching people how to monetize video creation, how to monetize YouTube and build a business around content creation. He's also a graphic designer. He's videographer. He's pretty much good at anything tech and content creation. So thrilled to have Roberto joining StreamYard. He's going to be creating content on the StreamYard YouTube channel, and I talked to Roberto yesterday and asked him what it was about StreamYard that caught his attention.
I want something easy where I could bring in friends like you, or where I could just bring stuff really quickly and easily onto the stream. And StreamYard's like probably the most stable thing I've used. I like the multi-streaming features. I love that I can put it up on my Facebook at the same time when I'm doing my YouTube live training events, and it's just the best, to be honest with you, in terms of accessibility, stability, speed, and feature set for me personally.
And Roberto says that StreamYard's been an asset to him, using it in his business.
One of the things that I love using it for is we use it in my business, Awesome Creator Academy, for my coaching group. We do live Q&As. We do micro channel reviews with it. You've seen on my YouTube channel that I've moved to using it for my YouTube live streams.
So Roberto talking about some of the different ways that he uses StreamYard, but our conversation got into monetizing live streaming and content creation and YouTube channels, and he had some ideas that you don't hear a lot for how people, regardless of whether you have 1 follower or 1 million followers, you can monetize your skills in content creation, and you could do so right now regardless. So check out this interview. It's on the StreamYard YouTube channel. Just a phenomenal conversation with Roberto Blake. It's only about 17 minutes long, so it's a little longer maybe than snackable, but not too long. So there's a lot of value. Roberto packed like an hour of value right into 17 minutes of conversation. Also, Monday, we had a special live show welcoming 3 other StreamYard creators. Nick Nimmin, next to me, at the bottom left is Daniel Battelle, and bottom right is Nick's brother, D. Nimmin, and these guys are fantastic. They're also going to be creating content on the StreamYard YouTube channel, and I talked to Nick Nimmin about how he discovered StreamYard, and I forgot that, well, the answer was kind of interesting.
The first time, Ross, that I ever had even heard of StreamYard was actually through you. When you interviewed Dee and I, at a point in time, I think this was probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. That was the first time. Another thing that I found extremely valuable was during that live stream that I mentioned earlier when we, first came on and did our introductions. During that live stream, one of the hurdles that I always had was the ability to easily bring on guests into the stream. So because of that, StreamYard was a fantastic solution to where you can just simply, copy the link out, paste it into a Facebook group or wherever it is that you're wanting to let people know, send it to somebody an email, whatever it happens to be. And then they can easily come on to the show and, come and hang out. And it's just an easy, seamless experience.
And we'll get into more with Dee Nimmin and with Daniel Battelle. We'll have some sound from them as well in the remix toward the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. You can see both of those episodes are on the StreamYard YouTube channel. We've got a StreamYard Connect playlist. You can check out the episode with Roberto Blake as well as the episode with Nick D and Daniel, again, on the StreamYard YouTube channel, youtube.com/StreamYard. More to come from that show with Nick D and Daniel later in the show. Also, Dana Benz has been doing webinars on Thursdays, and tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, she'll be doing a StreamYard Webinar 101. If you're new to StreamYard or you're new to live streaming or you just want to find out about perhaps some of the features you didn't know about or weren't sure about how to use, check that out. It's on the StreamYard YouTube channel. Dana's the head of marketing for StreamYard and does an awesome job in explaining the different features of StreamYard and how you can go about using them. So check that out tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern on the StreamYard YouTube channel. And a quick thanks to Jesse Guthrie. He's continuing to help us evolve the backgrounds that we use on the show. And last week and this week and the week before, you've seen through that time period a steady evolution. And now we're going with another look. And it's just awesome. Jesse does tremendous work. And he's contributed for today's show this background that I'm using for the screen shares, but also what I'm going to be using when we do the interviews as well. StreamSenseMedia.com is his website, StreamSenseMedia.com, and Jesse's getting a whole bunch of services together for StreamYard users to up their branding and really look great using the tools that StreamYard provides. So check out Jesse, and we say thanks as always to Jesse for the great job that he does with the backgrounds that we use on StreamYard Connect. Quickly, the news before we bring in our guest. Live streaming in Australia doubled during the pandemic, according to Business Insider Australia, and a study done by Deloitte. 2 times as many millennials as baby boomers were driving that result, although across all age groups, live streaming was up. Over a quarter of all Aussies were watching live streams between March and May. The one thing that they did find, at least in Australia, is that while people seem to be enjoying consuming live streams, not a lot of people were willing to pay for them in Australia. However, ABC News did an article about live streaming here in the US and mentioned how during the pandemic, a lot of brick and mortar businesses, local shops, have turned to live streaming, gone completely virtual with their business, and it's paid off big time. And we've done stories like this before, so I'm not going to get into the details, but just worth noticing that ABC News is following this and had a story about it. So the big media is definitely on top of the potential, at least for U.S.-based businesses. And we know Chinese businesses have been doing it for quite a while, and other businesses in different parts of the world. But here in the U.S., people definitely benefiting from live streaming as they fight to keep their businesses alive. And some of those businesses have actually thrived from making the adjustment from in-person business to virtual. So it's worth noting that. And if you like to DJ or watch DJs playing their music on Facebook, that may be coming to an end. Facebook's going to start cracking down on DJ live streaming starting October 1st. I always kind of wondered how people got away with it because of the copyright violations from DJing. It's like any other live stream, right? You're not supposed to play music that you don't have a copyright to or haven't licensed. So Facebook's going to fight that. It's often a fun time though to tune in and watch a friend spin some tunes and DJ. But I assume that's going to be on the way out. If Facebook's cracking down, it's not worth getting your account or your page in trouble with Facebook and losing all the other opportunities to live stream. That story was from your EDM. And this is StreamYard Connect. I'm Ross Brand. Let's get to our guest. We have a great guest today. Brian Alvey is the founder of Answers RN. He's the CEO of Clipisode. You can find Answers RN, simple enough, answersrn.com, which will enable you to download the app. And let's bring on Brian, who I'm thrilled to talk to again. It's been a while. I had him on a show about 3 years ago when Clipisode was launching, and congratulations on Answers RN. Really cool app.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, I remember that. Please, it's 3 years is a long time ago.
Yeah. And so let's go a little bit about your background before we jump into video clips. This isn't your first rodeo, so to speak. You have been doing online work in the development side for quite a while. Can you talk about how you got started and some of the relatively or very high profile projects that you've worked on over the years?
Yes. So I've been very lucky. I love that. This is your first rodeo is a really polite way to say you're friggin' old. So thank you. Thank you for,
it's not my first rodeo either. So
I know exactly. It's called the show Two Old Dudes Live Streaming. So yeah, no, I mean, I had a career before the web. The web is old. I was talking to somebody the other day. I helped put Business Week and TV Guide, their first websites online in 1995. And most of the people I work with weren't born then. It's pretty bizarre. But I've been very fortunate to build, Engadget or TMZ and things that people have heard of. It's kind of always funny when you list a bunch of the things that you built or I built to somebody and they're like, Engadget, I never heard of it. Capgemini sounds boring, right? Like Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, whatever. And then you say TMZ and they're like, oh my God, I watch that show every day. And you just go, you kind of cringe. Like that's my biggest thing in my past. It's funny, but
you
again,
certainly
fortunate
crossed
to work
a lot
on
of different
big things.
industries, right?
Yeah, no, of course. For a while there, I was kind of getting invited to, when Rupert Murdoch wanted to build the first iPad news app and in a handshake deal with Steve Jobs, and Steve Jobs actually had like design sign off on it, right? Like they were really building something they thought would be the default installed news app for iPads the year iPads came out. I was brought in for that. I brought in my friend's app company. We ended up building it. The app had a Super Bowl commercial. And the weird thing is, as cool as all of that is, I think that was 8 or 10 years ago now. It's ancient history, right? None of that matters. What matters now is, TikTok.
So how did you get involved in web development? Were you self-taught? And how did you make your abilities known at a time when, well, even today, online skill development and skill marketing, so to speak, to get opportunities is still kind of, there's more certifications and there are more ways to screen people. And obviously people have more of a history. But, while the internet has certainly people been developing websites for consumers going back into the 90s, still, how did you kind of get into it? How did you grow your knowledge base, and then how did you get to where people would hire you for those kind of jobs?
That's a very long question. I'll give you.
It is a very long question. I'm gonna go out of the room and get a drink. And
that's good. Right. You're like those radio DJs that put on Hotel California just so they can do the long bathroom break, right?
Right.
And they step aside. Great. So my wife used to do that. She was a radio DJ. So you'll see the Iron Man posters on the back wall there. I was a kid who wanted to be a comic book artist. When I went to college, my dad was like, "I'm not paying for a degree that says you can draw superheroes. That's a waste of money. I need you to get like a science degree." Ended up getting a physics degree and didn't know what to do with it. And then the web came along and I was just good at databases. I don't know. The short answer is I'm not a 10 at any one thing. I'm like an 8 at a bunch of things, or a 7 or a 6 or whatever, right? I'm better at design than programmers. I'm better at programming than designers, but I'm not better than both of those camps. So I mix a lot of stuff. And the web was just this beautiful blend, especially content management systems. It was a beautiful blend of, design templates and a database of 1 million blog posts, right? And when you marry those together, boom, you have TMZ, boom, you have Engadget, you have a blog network, you have these things. And so what I found, actually, my skill was not drawing superheroes. It was not making databases. It was not any one thing. My skill was, if you're doing something that takes you 6, 7 clicks to do, I know I can get that down to 2. And if you give me a few more minutes, I can get it down to 1. And if you give me a week, I can probably get it down to 0. And that's been my thing. How do you shave the time off of the crap that you spend your life doing to do your job? And usually that's translated into making people publish faster. My sort of tagline is I build software that makes creative people more powerful. And what does that mean? Well, I let TMZ publish really quickly and scale. And when they have the only story about Michael Jackson dying on the planet and the rest of the internet is crashing, my software stays up. So that's just been my thing. How do I take you and make you faster? And when people ask me, not to jump to my new app, but when people ask me like, well, what is Answers RN? How does it work? It's a very open-ended platform for collecting videos from anybody on any phone. It would be stupid for me to explain it to you in very broad strokes, very generic terms. What I usually do is say, that's a great question. Tell me a bit about what you do, what your day is like. And I'll tell you how adding what I do to that is going to make you get more done, sell more, sleep more, that kind of thing. So long answer, long question.
I think for a lot of content creators, obviously anything they can do to reduce friction, to save time, to reduce, time editing, time making calls, time booking guests, in order to, I'm fortunate that I do a lot of shows, so I have an opportunity to bring in sound from other shows, and we have other shows here on StreamYard, of course, but a lot of times you want to get sound related to one specific topic, and okay, what do? Do I book a time for somebody to come in and record with me? Do I, when I want a 10-second to 50-second clip to run on the show? And so that's what attracts me to an app like Answers RN, is that I can just send it to somebody and get an answer and then decide if I want to put that answer into the show or not, rather than having to meet with them or explain to them how to set up and everything. So that's my kind of walkthrough and where it reduces friction. Talk about what you've heard from other users and what you're finding as more people start getting on the app.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, I loved your countdown graphics today, by the way.
Thanks.
Give a shout out to the people. That's just, I love when something cool gets added to make you look more professional at that thing you're doing. So didn't want to go without saying that. You talk about how you see this fitting in your life. So at its most basic sense, Answers RN works like this. You record a video. What's your ask? It can be an ask me anything about working with TMZ, building a gadget, whatever, about Iron Man, right? Or it can be, hey guys, what do you think about, Adobe buying Marketo, or some deal that's going on, or the, crazy orange sky in San Francisco. So you either get back stories from people, or you get back people asking you questions. Those are coming as videos. Everybody else who's tried to do this thought that, you with your audience, you can force them to download some stupid app to send you a video reply. And it's just not true. Like, you may love Taylor Swift. You may put her lyrics tattooed on your body. You may take a bullet for her, but you're not installing an app for her. Like I'll do the lyrics, I'll take a bullet, not installing the app. That's up here, right? So we made a way where when you record that intro video, you just share a link It can be in a tweet, Instagram story, text to somebody, doesn't matter. They click on that, their camera turns on, they send you back content. And here's the part you just pulled out, which is it's not live back and forth. Then you're not interrupting them, they're not interrupting you. You're getting content and you're in control the whole time. So you kind of fire it off and forget. So it's like fishing. Just throw it out there, come back in 2 days and see what you got. 2 weeks, see what you got. And then you're in control of all that content. So it's a very much like, how can I spend 30 seconds investing in this process that may give me back a half hour or hour worth of content that I can use on my show? So it's fantastic for that. And then to answer your question about kind of who uses it and how they use it, live streaming, we're an anti-live product. We're specifically not live, right? When you answer, you saw me in the Foo Fighters shirt earlier. So if Dave Grohl asks a question on Twitter and I'm answering, my camera turns on, but I can upload a pre-recorded video. I can go to Wikipedia and make sure I'm talking about a song from the right album, right? I can really get my stuff right. Right now, I'm live. Right. I got to sound smart. I got one shot. It's sounding like I know what I'm talking about right now. But in our app, you have a couple shots, do a few takes, right? Sound like a genius. Look up stuff, rehearse, whatever. So we have this way for you to get that content that's not live. It's asynchronous, like video voicemail. And how you use that fits so many different ways. And, like, again, my first way to use this is, Metallica doing an AMA with their fans, Taylor Swift doing a video AMA with her fans inside Instagram, inside Facebook, inside Twitter. But if you're a research person, you're like, oh, this is a magical way for me to get videos of people talking about their experiences with electric cars for my Forrester research report or whatever. And like, yeah, it totally is that as well.
Well, Lillian has a couple of questions on Facebook. First of all, wants to know what does the RN stand for in Answers RN? But also, could you break down basically just how it works for the non-technical person, just to understand exactly what the workflow is and how you're able, because really anybody can use this. So
correct, yeah. So RN, funny, right now, it's a term, like, this is basically like an age. It's, like some people have an IQ test, is like an age test. If you look at it and you don't know what RN is, it means you're like me, And so so it just means RN. Ask video questions, get video answers right now, from anybody, anywhere, just by sharing a link. So it really just stands for right now. It's internet lingo. The reason is because answers.com was taken by the company answers.com. And so we don't have that one. So we wanted something that just explained you can get answers right now from anybody. So that's the spirit of it. That's why the name is like that. A lot of good names are taken, and this is what we have. In terms of how it works, again, you record an ask. You record a video saying, hey, ask me anything about what it was like to build TMZ. That takes me 6, 8, 12 seconds, whatever. It's vertical video. We're very much vertical, not wide like this. And you take that, we give you a magic invitation link. That invitation link can go anywhere. You can text 3 of your friends. You can DM it to people. You can put it on Instagram story, swipe up and reply to me. Doesn't matter where you share that. If people open that link, they can send you a video reply. They see your ask, you can tell them, keep it under 30 seconds. Please don't talk about politics. Like, whatever the thing is you want to say, you can set them up and coach them. And then all of these replies come into your phone. So they come in, and I'm trying to think of what it's like, but it's like an inbox, basically. It's like a video voicemail inbox. And here's the funny thing. If you're a celebrity, one of the things we really wanted to do was kind of dial this in. So if you are Pink or Beyonce or like Shakira, right? And you throw out one of these things and you get 200, 300, 500 replies, that's a couple hours of video to watch, to find good questions, to find good stories. We cheat. We actually make this really easy. Let's say you get 230-second replies, an hour and a half of video. We go and we show them to you in an Instagram story-like interface, or like a dating app, like a Tinder type thing, where you see a poster of the person, you see the transcription on top of it, of the question they are asking, of what their story is, and you can, in 2 seconds, make a determination. Is this a psycho? Are they saying something crazy racist? Should I block them? Or is this a great, cool person with a legitimate video testimonial story question for me? And you can quickly find the right ones to answer. You hit you can watch them or not. You can hit the answer button, record your reply, but we take what would be an impossible process, doing a video AMA with your fans, especially if you are a star with stalker psychos out there and people that hate you, right? Everybody has haters, right? Imagine in politics right now, You could use our app to do a video AMA with people, and half the world hates you. Or I'm sorry, a third of the world hates you, a third of the world loves you maybe, and a third of the world doesn't care. So we protect you from the crazy people. We let you find the good content. And as you answer each of those, we combine those videos together into a snackable, back to your short snackable pieces of content. Let you combine them into something that fits in a tweet. So you could do a video AMA end to end in Twitter or in LinkedIn with just your audiences there, but you get content you can share across any platform.
What is the value? We hear a lot about it. I titled the episode Snackable Content. What is the value of creating very short form video content for social media? As we know, that's where a lot of people will put their finished quote unquote episode, short form answer or answers. Talk about what you're finding is, what does the data tell you in terms of what people are looking for when it comes to consuming video content on social media?
Yeah, so I don't know if this means people are lazy or they have no attention span. People are busy. Let's use the other word that rhymes with lazy. People are very busy. They don't have a lot of time, but they love video. Video gets their attention, right? Video speaks to you. You have eye-to-eye contact. You're mesmerized by this thing, especially to me, vertical video is like face-to-face, right? FaceTime. So what we know is that first app that we talked about a couple of years ago was called Clipisode. Our company's called Clipisode. And the plan with that was sort of like a video inbox, but everything gets combined together. Similar technology, right? Where everything comes into one long show. The problem is an 8 or 10 or 12-minute piece of content, which seemed like it was short at the time, still too long. It doesn't fit in a tweet, right? You have 2 minutes and 20 seconds for a video in a tweet. You want to put things natively where they belong. So what we learned was probably 90% of the people who were using our original app wanted to just share out cool things as they got them. They didn't want an all or nothing thing where you had to combine all the content together. And then once you shared it, you couldn't take any more answers because it was over. Too bad, sorry. Now that you've shared it and people want to get in, they can't get in. Well, that sucks. And that was sort of the biggest workflow problem with our old app. And 100% of the brands that we worked with, 100% of our paying customers wanted it to work that way. Can we get all the replies to Brad Paisley for Nationwide out as they're coming in, but keep collecting new replies? And the answer was, yeah, I had to do it by hand behind the scenes. So the new app just works the way everybody's kind of begged us for the old app to work. There was a small portion, 5 or 10%, maybe less, of people who used the old Clipisode app who actually wanted to combine 30, 40, 50 video clips into one long video. And it was things like during the pandemic, there was a summer camp in New Jersey that asked all their campers for trick shot clips, whether it was frisbee throwing, golf, basketball, some sort of like sports trick shot thing. And people sent them all in and they combined them all into one long video, and they wanted a 20-minute masterpiece showing the whole thing. But that was the minority of people using the old app. They really wanted, I want to get cool things, I want to answer them, share them out, but just keep this running. Like not have an AMA that's only Friday at noon for an hour, but have one that just is sort of open-ended and runs for weeks. So that was one of the big things we learned. And then the other piece is it goes hand in hand with what you're talking about. So it's not built to put clips into a live streaming show, but one of the first big interesting people who used our old app a few years ago was doing a Facebook Live, and he was a TV star. He was on the show Teen Titans Go, this cartoon. He was in movies and stuff and all over the place. And he would have amazing guest stars like Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy, who has like 7 million Twitter followers, or these models and all these crazy people. And he was using that to collect questions that they would switch to and ask during the live show. And it was frustrating to me because I want to show you this cool thing where Fall Out Boy used my app, right? But I can't link you to it because I have to link you to the 62-minute mark in an hour-and-a-half long Facebook Live archive. And it was really hard to do that. And I had to get over myself and say, dude, that people are going to use your platform, this product, this, thing you built in ways that you haven't imagined. You just have to roll with it and accept the fact that, okay, Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy used my app, and maybe make it easier for people doing those live stream shows to download clips, to pull them in and to use them in their daily lives. Don't force them to do what you do. But I still think that you should use it on the side, right? Still make content for social that drives awareness of your show and use it on the show.
Errol Ebanks is watching on YouTube and asks, is there plans for an Android app?
That's a great question. So 2-person team, mostly self-funded. Yes, there are plans. We can only type so fast. Here's the medium length answer to that, right? And I talk fast, so this will seem like a short answer. So in the original app, we were combining all these video clips together, but we're doing it all in the cloud. So we built the platform on React Native, which lets you do Android and iPhone apps at the same time, using the same code base, as long as you don't try to do anything too tricky. Everything you would do, every clip you would add, it would upload to the cloud. It felt like a lot of waiting, like a lot of business software, enterprise software. So you'd add a clip, it would process, download, whatever. That let us make a platform that worked on both, make a product that worked on both platforms. The new thing that we're doing is we've moved all that video merging and video rendering into the phone. And to do that, you had to go very specifically native. So my co-founder, Max, my chief technology officer, got really, really, really good at iPhone video and some like arcane stuff. It's going to take a while to replicate that on the Android side. Another thing is Android phones in general are underpowered versus comparable iPhones. So it just takes longer to render. So if you take 3 minutes of video and you process it, it can take a minute or two on the iPhone. It can take longer on the Android, and your phone will actually heat up in your hand. So there's some things that we need to solve, but it's on our roadmap.
For both, for the designer and for the user experience, what are the benefits of having that video render right on your phone?
Number one is speed. So if you think about, so Snapchat and a lot of these other things, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever, they kind of cheat. They kind of render it while you record it, and you can't go back and switch out to a different lens or something. They're kind of doing it while you're recording. It's a thing. Ours is actually, we're recording a raw video file so that you can use it without branding and overlays on it. You can pull it into your live show, and you can do all these other things. But the way ours works, you can actually go back and change to a different theme or some kind of different look as we build out more themes. So we're doing it in a kind of a hard way, but we are, if it's just waiting on the cloud takes forever. A lot of people have a great phone and a bad internet connection, right? So if you can do it on the phone, it just feels more like you're using something responsive, something that is not wasting your time. If you're waiting on an upload, download, spinners, stuff like that, it just feels like death.
What is your plan as far as monetizing the app goes?
That is a great question. So we've, right now it's brands, doing brand campaigns, so branded content. We like to use this example of like if you were, well, actually I'll use the example of what we did with Clipisode. So Nationwide, the Nationwide jingle, right? Nationwide is on your side. Not to do a commercial for them, but I kind of love them because they're the coolest thing that we did in the old app was this, and it just showed off what it means to get celebrities talking about your brand. Here's our mission, our movement actually that we're tapping into, and I didn't know this when we started. I really thought, okay, I'm making a way for me to be in a video Q&A with Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters or with Metallica or Taylor Swift, right? That's what I thought we were doing. And what it turns out is that I've realized over time working on this, that what we've done is you get more results when someone else helps tell your story. So let's talk about this. If you're Dell and you want to talk about your laptop, right? Or you're StreamYard and you want to talk about your product. If you put out a press release or you just talk to people and you're like, buy our laptop, use StreamYard, right? It kind of falls flat. But if you can get Roberto Blake to say, I use this and it changed my life and it made me faster at what I do, and you should use this too, that means the world to you. You're going to sell, you're going to get more customers from that. Think of why Yelp exists. Yelp exists because a restaurant telling me they don't suck, I don't trust them. But if I read reviews from real people, maybe some of them I know, right? So when other people tell your story, you get more trust, you get more clicks, you get more views, you get more conversions. So the movement we sort of tapped into is it's really hard to get video testimonials from customers, from fans, things like that. And that's what we built and what we're doing. So tell me that question again, because I started.
It was a monetization question, and your answer was branded content.
So I'll give you the quick example. Sure. Yeah. So Nationwide said, hey, those commercials with Brad Paisley wearing his cowboy hat and Peyton Manning, football player, and they're working on Nationwide jingles, right? You know these, right? The jingle sessions.
Of course.
They said, what if Brad and Peyton were stuck and they used your app to ask fans for help? Could they do that? I'm like, yeah. Can you get a video from those guys? They go, yeah. So they got an 11-second video of Brad Paisley in his hat going, hey, Peyton and I aren't getting anywhere with the jingle. I could really use your help. And in the background, you hear Peyton Manning like, hey, are you on the phone? Get off the phone. We got to work on the jingle, right? Driving him nuts. So they shared a link on 3 social media posts, and they got 510 replies, almost 4.5 hours of content from fans pouring out their heart about stories of when the insurance company helped them when they had a flood, or they moved and their wife was pregnant and all this stuff, or recording songs and talking about insurance and stuff. And so what we realized was we have a way for fans, for stars and fans to make videos together, kind of that cameo-like experience of, oh my God, I just had a moment with Brad Paisley or Metallica or whatever it is. But we insert brands into those experiences in a way that doesn't interrupt. So people were singing songs about Nationwide. They weren't upset that Nationwide was at the party. They were having a moment with Brad Paisley, right? So that whole triangle of stars, fans, and brands, that's what we live in, and that's how we make money as branded content campaigns, influencer takeovers, things like that.
So are you then guiding them through that content? Like, is your role being paid to guide them through that process? And
a bit. A bit. So there's web tools. There's a brand manager. If they don't have to download the app to do that. I'd say there's probably 2 levels to what we're doing. One is kind of that like way up there brands, Coca-Cola, Nationwide, things like that, right? Massive companies using us to get these celebrities that they're working with to talk to their fans about the thing they do, sneakers, whatever it is. The other one is really sort of your space, more the power users. So people who have a podcast, people who have a book to promote, people who have a Patreon account, things like that. How do we help them make videos with their fans and let their fans go door to door with a piece of content that they're proud of to go talk about their favorite author's new book or about their favorite musician's Patreon? That's kind of probably the more relevant one to what you're talking about.
Right. And so if you could, like with branded content, it takes place on the users, like the influencers account, or it takes place on the company's account? Like,
it's both. No, this is a great question.
It's a hard one to define, right? You hear people switch out branded content, advertising, sponsored content, and sometimes there's an overlap, and usually there's not, but it's really not that well defined to the consumer a lot of times.
Oh, right. So in terms of product placement.
So in terms of just understanding like how it works, who's paying for it, where you find it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I'll totally explain that. So we use the term takeover a lot, and a lot of like civilians don't think of takeovers or whatever, right? They're blissfully unaware of how this works. But a lot of brands will pay a celebrity to kind of take over their Instagram account for the day, or 3 years ago it was take over their Snapchat for the day. There's a brand that was just built. Blanking on their name, but it was like every day was like a different swimsuit model taking over their Snapchat account, and they built it up to millions and millions of followers. They were called Arsenic. That's what they were. And so that was their thing. And so those takeovers, though, here's how a takeover works. If let's say you have a StreamYard Instagram account, and you want to do a takeover, who's a great person who you would want to have take over your account for the day to kind of bring more awareness to what you're doing? Who would you pick?
I'm not as up on pop culture.
No, not pop culture, but like in your space. So
in my space,
Roberto Blake, right?
I would take Roberto Blake, Nick Nim, and any of those guys.
Right? Wonderful guy. Yeah. So you want him to take that over. The way that influencer takeovers and the way that these celebrity or just call them thought leader takeovers used to work is you would like sign out of your Instagram and he would sign in, and then he would just host it for the day and he'd bring his audience over there, and that's a big giant pain to do. So we have a weird sort of a trick that gets around that, which is how do you do like a virtual takeover where you can get his audience onto the thing that you're doing without actually having to sign in and out of your Instagram account and hope that he doesn't change the password and forget what he changed it to, right? Which would happen on Snapchat back in the day. So we have a way where you get a video from him, you share that magic invitation link on your socials and on his. And if it's in a case of like Nationwide has like 1 million followers. Brad Paisley has 20 million followers. So you clearly want him to share these things into his networks. When you're doing that, it feels like he'd take over Nationwide's channel for the day. He's answering questions about stuff for Nationwide. So we have a way to get influencers to virtually take over your channels in a way that doesn't actually have them taking over your channels. And then if they answer 10, 20, 30 questions, 6 questions, doesn't matter. Those videos run on both places. So where did it take place? Wherever that star was sitting that day in a beach in Hawaii. It doesn't matter. It just feels to the fans like they had a moment with those stars, and the brand is kind of sponsoring, underwriting the whole thing.
Trying to answer a question from Gerardo, and I sent out something that looked like numbers, but didn't make any sense. Yeah, if you're streaming in 720p, it's 1280 by 720 for your overlay. If you're streaming in 1080, it's 1920 by 1080. So that is it's your 16 by 9 aspect ratio, just so you know, for overlays. Now, in terms of video overlays, because that's what we played, the video doesn't have to be that size. You can do what I did when I played Brian's clip, which was a vertical video, and I just put a background behind it with some text in a video editor, and then rendered the video as a 1920 by 1080 video. So
a funny thing, in our old app, we had this a lot, right? We're a vertical video app. Our old app used to do square and vertical. The new one is completely vertical only. I used to be that guy. You know the videos where they would show the guy walking around and turning everybody's cameras. So there'd be somebody like doing their, they got their phone up like this, and they're doing like the sunset at the beach or whatever. And the person would come and like grab their hand and like turn it like, no, it's supposed to be like this. I was one of those like, it should all be wide people. Now I'm converted to the vertical thing, but yeah, it's a funny thing. The bar for video quality has gone down, especially in the last 6 months with the pandemic. You have celebrities doing like a live stream concert from their living room. That's television. If you watch, there's a TMZ sports show, and it's just 3 phones next to each other. Like it literally like, and one of them is always glitching and in and out, and the quality is terrible, and the other 2 are fine. But like the public's like appetite for, does it have to be 1080p or like 4K or, what does this thing have to be? It's a really low barrier right now, which I think is great for all of us in the video space.
Well, you know what? It's a low barrier for pro. Like, you've seen the pros, people who are paid a lot of money to do this, really struggle to do what the average podcaster or YouTuber or live streamer can do from home, which is get decent lighting and audio and, know where to be and how to sound and what to do. What's interesting is the creativity and even the interest and quality amongst the average person is coming up a little bit, because people who thought they would never do this, right? So all they had was a built-in camera on their computer, and now they think like, let's get a webcam, or let's get a microphone or whatever. But what's great about a mobile app is the camera is so good in your phone, and it's so good in all different kinds of light, and the microphone is more than good enough that you don't really have to upgrade your phone if you're doing mobile live streaming. Or if you're recording a mobile video. You can get microphones, you can get other lenses, and you can enhance things. But the baseline is now so good with what you can do just with the phone right out of the box, that it really makes it possible for anybody to create a video that's good enough for me to share on this show, or for them to share on their social media, whether they're doing it for a brand or they're doing it for themselves or just having a good time.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
What did you have to learn about video? Were you doing any video before you came up with Clipisode, or were you new to sort of the video area at that time?
So I've probably always felt like I was new to it, right? But if you look back, when we had Engadget, we did like one of the first things about how to do a podcast, right? How these things work, how to do a feed that has enclosures in it. So I've always been there and in and around it. And, with TMZ, live streaming, Charlie Sheen's backyard winning Tiger Blood meltdowns, like that was like the biggest thing in video that week. Right. So I've been involved in some things, but I always felt like I'm not the video guy or whatever. I've got to say that the switch where we moved all the rendering out of the cloud and onto the phone made me, and especially my co-founder, 100 times more than me, become like video gods, like really understanding codecs and how you combine things together and how you do things faster. There's a technology that we're actually adding to this, which will make it even harder to replicate on Android. I'm sorry, Android people, but what the iPhone does, I mean, besides the camera, microphone, integration in your hand, it's actually too good, right? It does video that you don't even need the quality they have to do a good live stream or to do something good for social, because it's just gonna, get downgraded when you put it in a tweet. That stuff is so incredible, and we've learned a lot. So, half of this has been the journey of just becoming great at video. And so now I'd say we're like really, really, really good. Whereas a couple of years ago, I felt like we're kind of messing around in it and maybe pretending. Now we're solid. I'm so happy.
Do you have an exit plan as far as the startup goes? Do you have a vision down the road of what you want this to become, or how you're going to exit from it at some point?
Yeah, no. So it's funny. We have a couple of investors. There's this guy named Mark Cuban who's on TV sometimes.
I think I've heard of him.
Exactly, right. So we have a few cool people like that involved in this. And once you take on, I've actually helped write an angel investing book, and I've helped coach at an accelerator.
If Mark Cuban wants to take over my Instagram, by the way, that would be perfectly fine.
Wouldn't that be cool? He could do that. No,
that would be wonderful.
He's very good on camera. I don't know what the deal is with that. So we have, once you take on investors, you've kind of committed to, you will sell the business at some point. It's also a little like gauche to like talk about your exit plan or whatever. Like when you pitch somebody for an angel round, which is still where we are, we're still in the sort of the seed pre-A stage. To talk about your exits is actually kind of like, it's kind of wrong. You're not supposed to do that.
It's a very fun question to ask.
Since you asked, you
don't have to. You're not obligated to answer, but I'm going to ask.
So if you think about the kinds of companies that are going to buy a way for stars and fans to make video, or for brands to make more branded content, if this was acquired by like a Facebook or Twitter or whatever, or one of the platforms, we work across all of them. So it'd actually be a bit of a waste to just go work with only Instagram or YouTube or something, because we want something that runs across all these platforms. So the win for us would be, think of the tool makers that work across all these businesses, the Adobes and Microsofts and Amazons that sell things that let you work across all those platforms. Those are good fits for us. There are other really interesting fits out there. I know a lot of good people, so we'll see what happens. But really, we need to get traction, show that this works, and just spend every day making it easier for people. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
I did throw some real company names in there.
Yeah, well, it's great having you on the show, Brian. The app is Answers RN. Answers right now is what RN stands for. So all you have to do is go to answersrn.com, and it'll take you right on over to the app in the iOS store, right? And you can download it if you have a iPhone. Works on iPad too?
Yeah, works. Okay. Actually, really works. Dark mode. We put a lot of time into that.
Sounds good. And you can make short videos and ask people questions and get answers and share them on social media, share them on your live stream. Very cool. Thank you, Brian. Thanks so much for coming on, and keep us posted how things develop, and we'll definitely revisit this. I look forward to using the app.
Thank you, Ross. This was amazing.
Thanks, Brian. That is Brian Alvey from Answers RN, AnswersRN.com. This is StreamYard Connect. I'm Ross Brand. We are here every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, and it is time for that segment we like to call the remix. So if you give me 1 second, we will dig in to some clips you heard earlier from Nick Nimmin and Roberto Blake. We also had D. Nimmin on our special show on Monday, and I talked to D, whose specialty is mobile video, but he's also been singing the praises of StreamYard. So I talked to him about StreamYard as...
The thing that draws me to StreamYard above all else is the ease of use, and it always works. I don't have to worry about updates. I don't have to worry about... And that's really the biggest thing with the other platforms is when an update comes in, you're like, oh no. And you just, you cross your fingers and you hope that it's going to work. But with StreamYard, it works every time. It's incredibly easy. It's easy to add graphics, backgrounds, and now videos. It works on your phone. It works on your computer. It works on your tablet. It's the easiest streaming platform out there.
And that's Dean Nimmin. He and Nick Nimmin, his brother, do a lot of live streams together. They're both going to be content creators for StreamYard. You can find them on the StreamYard YouTube channel, youtube.com/StreamYard coming up. We also spoke with Daniel Battelle, who live streams a lot and has been live streaming using a variety of different products, and over the last year has settled on StreamYard as his choice. And he also spoke about why he loves StreamYard for live streaming.
One of the things I really liked about it is I came from a streaming paradigm where I was using another competitor, not a competitor, I guess it was a software, so it was actually installed on my computer, and I have stream decks and things and buttons, and to do a simple scene like you're seeing on screen now would take a lot of programming to do that. And with StreamYard, it's just a matter of clicking and it happens. And the biggest benefit I love about StreamYard is I would have a moment of an internet glitch or a disconnect, and I would be off the platform. I would be off YouTube. And it was like stream went down. StreamYard, because you're going through the servers on their own site, you don't get that. I can get knocked out. I can close my browser and then log back in and not lose my stream. I can show right back up.
Yeah, so many advantages to using StreamYard. We also talked to Daniel and Roberto in a separate video, but Daniel, Nick, and Dee in that first video. You can find that on the StreamYard YouTube channel. They started giving tips as well on YouTube and growing your channel and live streaming. And Roberto gave tips on monetizing. A lot of great content on the StreamYard YouTube channel from those creators as we welcome them to the StreamYard content team. Also, we have other shows already going on for quite a while. We have the StreamYard Town Hall on Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. We have StreamYard Connect right here every Wednesday. We're going to have some great guests next week. The founders of Outlaw Mass, Carlos Gill and Reggie Williams, will be joining us. They have been getting some major publicity, getting their new product, their new masks to keep people safe during the pandemic. They've been having NBA players show them off. They've been getting major publicity. Carlos is a StreamYard user. I believe Reggie uses StreamYard as well. Can't wait to have them on and hear about how their business is going. And then Dana Benz and Kelsey Benz every Thursday night interview you, the StreamYard user, and talk to you about how you are using the product on StreamYard Spotlight Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, Dana will be doing a StreamYard 101 webinar. And the other thing people had asked about how if you weren't with us in the beginning, people were asking, easy for me to say, about how StreamYard and how, what were they asking about? I'm looking through the questions real quick. Okay, yeah, it was the one that caught my mind was a question about how Answers RN works and if we can give a demo. So real quick, what you do is you record a quick video on your phone asking somebody a question, and you distribute that to them by either posting it on social, DMing them, sending them an email, however you want to communicate with someone, and then they send you back an answer. And I had put out a question about what's your favorite platform to watch live streams, and Brian happened to be one of the people that answered, and then I have the opportunity to respond to his answer, which I didn't include in this clip, but it gives you an idea of how it works and what it looks like.
Hey, this is great. I love Answers RN. It's my app. It's funny. There are a lot of great places for a live video. Everybody does a very good job with this. Twitter maybe doesn't get enough credit for doing live sports and things like that really well. TikTok has live. Everybody has live. Twitch, though, seems to be the giant, the leader. I mean, all they do is live. They're pretty fantastic, and I'll be checking out StreamYard. Thanks.
So thanks again to Brian Alvey, AnswersRN.com. And again, don't forget to check out the episodes of StreamYard Connect with Roberto Blake and with Nick Nimmin, Dee Nimmin, and Daniel Battelle, which are all live and active and ready to be watched on the StreamYard YouTube channel, youtube.com/StreamYard. If you're not using StreamYard yet, it's easy to get started. LivestreamUniverse.com/StreamYard. LivestreamUniverse.com/StreamYard. StreamYard. And we will see you again next week, 2 p.m. Eastern, Wednesday, for another episode of StreamYard Connect. Have a great day, everyone.